Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Davis weather tracking video. Today we're going to be taking a look at some of the last details here before our potentially historic winter storm slash nor'easter affects portions of Delaware, New Jersey, Maryland, Pennsylvania, New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and potentially even heading up into Maine. So we're going to be taking a look at a couple of last details here before this storm happens. As you can see here, looking at our satellite, it's already starting to come into view, this storm. You can see here around this area, you're starting to see a lot of that convection here. We already have some ongoing snowfall across portions of Pennsylvania, West Virginia. Those areas are already starting to see some snowfall, but that is not necessarily related to this winter storm that we are expected to have today. Let's take a look at some of what the National Weather Service is saying about this winter storm. As you can see, this is very intense wording here from National Weather Service in Mount Holly and Philadelphia. Confidence remains high that a potentially historic winter storm will impact the area through Monday. Significant snow, strong winds, and coastal flooding may result in life-threatening travel and crippling impacts to infrastructure that lasts beyond Monday. So now we have blizzard warnings extending across all of New Jersey. All of New Jersey now is under a blizzard warning. That's something incredible. We also see New York City there under a blizzard warning as well. This is just incredible. We rarely ever see this for this area. This is extremely rare. This is, as they said, potentially historic. Yeah, now looking at our snowfall totals, you can see this just gets worse now. You can see here, we're now expecting between 24 and 30 inches across portions of the Toms River and Longs Branch, even extending into portions of Long Island here. Up here, you can see they did mention, like I said earlier yesterday, some mixing is possible south of Atlantic City near Cape May and Bethany Beach. That may lower those totals. That's where we're expecting to see some rain first, then a change over to snow. But yeah, 18 to 24 inches across basically all of New Jersey. This is just incredible. Even stretching into Delaware and portions of Pennsylvania, New York. It looks like we're even getting there into Connecticut. So just historic stuff. I mean, if we remember when we were looking at our map yesterday here, let's take a look at this. This is our overall winter weather impacts. You can see yesterday, we only saw extreme impacts expected along these very thin coastlines here. Now we're seeing extreme impacts expected all across New Jersey here throughout portions of basically, yeah, literally all of Long Island, New York in that extreme impacts. Travel is not advised. Widespread major to extreme impacts are likely with this storm. Snow-covered roads and gusty winds will yield to reduced visibility, which will cause life-threatening travel. So if you're out there on those roads tonight, don't be. It's going to be terrible. Anywhere Philadelphia, Trenton, Atlantic City, Dover, Islip, New York, West Milford, anywhere in that extreme area, don't be on the roads this evening. It's going to be just terrible, just terrible for those areas. This is extremely rare. We almost never see this. So let's have a look at what we expect. We're going to go through this very briefly, but we're still going to have a look at it anyways. Let's push this model run forward here. You could see here as we head towards later today, this is going to be 7 p.m. today. You can already see that snow working into portions of the Atlantic coast and New Jersey. This is just going to be incredible stuff. And as we continue out this model run here, you can see by tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., well underway across portions of New Jersey, well underway across Long Island, well underway across portions of Massachusetts and Connecticut, Rhode Island, especially there. A lot of those areas starting to see extreme impacts. And as we head through the day on Monday, you can see the system will start to work out, and thank goodness by the time you reach about 1 a.m., we should be all done with it. Maybe some lingering snow across Maine, but that is about it. Let's take a look at some snowfall totals now. This is the fun part. I know everyone's eager to see what our snow totals are going to be from this system, so let's take a look at what the HRR says this morning. So you can see here, we got some snow coming throughout the day according to the HRR, and then by the time we get into the late evening hours by 7 p.m. on Sunday, this is just incredible stuff. We can see already a few inches starting to work into southern New Jersey, portions of Delaware and Maryland there. And now as we head through the night, you can see this is 1 a.m. on Monday. We already got potentially over 6 inches on the ground across all of New Jersey likely here. And you can see we continue this about through 7 a.m. on Monday. Some of the heaviest snow is going to be occurring along this area here around this time. So this is going to be where that heavy snow is expected. We push it through the day on Monday, and you can see by the time all is said and done, we're seeing potentially over 23 inches across anywhere in these areas. Anywhere in these areas could potentially see over 20 inches. It's incredible. You do notice here near Nantucket, we do see a little bit less snowfall. That's because here, if we go to our precipitation type and we scroll back a bit, we can see that there is some mixing that occurs over here. You can see some of that changes over to rain here because it's very close proximity to this low pressure center here, which is now probably down to 969 millibars at that point. Incredible stuff, but that will lower snow totals there, so that's a little bit of a relief for areas in Nantucket, or not a relief if you're a snow lover there. But yeah, you can see, just look at that thing. We see it starts out as rain across most of the area, and then transitions over to snow rather quickly this evening. And yeah, just a quick transition, and this lasts all throughout the day on Monday before finally leaving as we head into Tuesday morning. Looking at our 9Z wrap model here, you could see this kind of similar story occur. We'll see that change over to snow around 2 p.m. today. You can see that'll continue throughout the day, and eventually the heaviest snow will likely be falling across portions of New Jersey into New York, and also Connecticut and Massachusetts, Rhode Island. That'll all be falling potentially around 4 a.m. is around we're expecting that heaviest round of snow to be coming. And then as we head throughout the day on Monday, you can see heaviest snow now for portions of Boston will be around this time in around 7 or 8 a.m. on Monday morning. So travel is not advised in those areas too. And as we head throughout the day on Monday, you can see all this entire system will be out of here by the time we get to around 12 a.m. on Tuesday, and then it should be completely gone by Tuesday morning. So that is looking good here. Let's take a look at just one more model, and then we'll take a look at what I think will happen for this snowfall. Here is the NAM model here. Let's take a look at what it thinks here. This is starting at 6Z on Sunday, so we're moving on to right now. This is around 8 a.m., 10 a.m. on Sunday. You can see there as we move it through the Sunday time frame, we can see by the time we get to sunset in these areas, we're going to be well underway with the snowfall as the low pressure starts to deepen there. You see there is a little bit of a secondary low pressure that actually kind of forms here. Take a look at this, a little secondary low, potentially a low that forms first and then gets submerged into a much bigger low, likely due to some convergence. These happen quite often with nor'easters, but that could be something we want to watch for any stalling, possibly. You can see here, yeah, that secondary low gets kind of absorbed into the main one as we head throughout the day on Sunday. This model has the heaviest snowfall occurring across Long Island, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts on Monday morning at around 7 a.m. So that's something we might have to watch. Maybe potentially that area will see heavy snow around that time. But yeah, similar to the other model, Tuesday morning is when we're going to see all that snow work out. Some lingering snow there across portions of there, but that shouldn't be anything to worry about. Now, I do want to address this briefly here. Let's take a look here at Wednesday. We do have a little bit of a secondary system. This is not going to bring anywhere near as much snowfall, but maybe an extra inch across portions of these areas that may see some snow on Wednesday morning. So we'll watch that carefully here. But to me, it doesn't look too significant. It should only bump up those totals by about an inch, as you can see here. But when all is said and done, let's go back to when this snow system's over. You can see here, it has basically all of these areas over 22 inches of snow. So that's just incredible. 2 feet of snow, potentially getting close to 3 feet in some spots if we end up on the higher end of things. But now, let's take a look at what I think is going to happen in this nor'easter. You can see here, snowfall is a little more confined to the coastline. Those are some changes that you notice. And also, these 22-inch areas plus, those are a lot more. This is where we're expecting potentially over 2 feet of snow. Now, New York is included in that. You can see Jersey City, Atlantic City, Dover. A lot of those areas there could see over 2 feet of snow. Also have portions of the mountains of New York there, over 22 inches, and also portions of Rhode Island, Connecticut, and Massachusetts there, potentially getting up near Boston there, over 22 inches. See there, Providence, Rhode Island, also in that 22-inch zone. Farther west, you can see DC Metro still in that 8 to 16, still questioning whether or not we're going to see about 8 inches of snow there, but we'll see how that goes. Philadelphia there in the 22-inch range now, so that will be something to watch out for, and we still see mountain snow there. This isn't necessarily related to the winter weather event, but mountain snow quite definitely a possibility anywhere to the west of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. So we'll see how that fares. Thank you for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed this quick video updating y'all on the current situation as we head into the later today time frame. I'll have another update video for you later today when we see that snow changeover around probably about 5 p.m. Stay safe on the roads out there. Be careful when you're driving if you are driving anywhere between Dover and New York. We'll have to watch that very carefully. Thank you for watching. If you liked, consider subscribing and liking the video, leaving a comment for any suggestions for what I should do for the next one. And we will see you all in the next forecast.